This is Blugold News Now, your spot for current events, campus news, and everything in between. Now live from Tower Studio, it's BNN with your hosts, Elizabeth Lindahl and Samantha Burnett.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Burnett.
And I'm Elizabeth Lindahl.
Coming up tonight, an award given to a local charity.
And a look at local city elections.
And your weekly recap of Blugold sports on BNN Blitz.
But first, Governor Tony Evers making a stop on campus this week. The governor was on campus to talk about his plans for 2025, which he is calling the Year of the Kid. During his time on campus, he spoke with Chancellor Jim Schmidt and other members of his office about his plans for repairs and renovations across campus. One thing he is hoping to address is accessibility concerns. In an interview with UW-Eau, Evers said that, quote, "We should not be waiting for an elevator to magically appear," end quote. There are several buildings on campus that he noted had services on second stories that students regularly need access to and that are not very easily accessible. He also talked about the new Health and Sciences building as well as the removal of buildings on campus, including Zorn Arena, where he spoke. You know, Sam, I think that it's actually a really cool experience that the governor came to campus to talk about his ideas and his plans and to actually get a chance to walk around and see what he's doing now and what we need in the future.
Yeah, I think it is cool to see how many political candidates and, people come to campus. But I think it's really interesting how he talked a lot about accessibility concerns. I think that's definitely something that needs to be talked more about on our campus because of how it is and with the hill and everything. And I think even just on, we have a lot of older buildings, and I think it's a really nice thing that he's talking about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Feed My People, a local food bank, has been recognized for their work by the Eau Claire Department of Human Services. DHS presented them with the first ever Friend of Human Services Award. Since 2020, Eau Claire, DHS, and Feed My People have partnered together to provide pre-packaged bags of food for emergency situations for DHS to hand out. In 2024, the partnership worked to give a helping hand to more than 1,300 people with all kinds of food insecurities. Feed My People continues to work with DHS and is excited to continue collaborating with DHS to help those in need.
Well, coming up after the break, a look into UW-EC softball season.
And a check-in with Evan to see what Wisconsin weather has in store for us.
Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Evan Claymore, and I host Sounds of the Valley at UW-EC's TV10 station. If you're anything like me, you love live music. Well, on my show, I take the live music and I give it to you. I take the finest musical talent from the Chippewa Valley area and I bring it directly to your screen. So if that sounds interesting, check it out at mytv10.uwec.edu or on our YouTube channel at UW-EC TV10.
Eau Claire Sculpture Tour is known across the region for its intricate sculptures. Some fan favorites, though, are set to leave later on this month. The final day to view Mother of Dragons and her 17 dinosaur sculpture friends will be next Thursday, March 21st. The sculptures were made by Minnesota artist Dale Lewis and have been on the tour since 2023. After they go extinct from Eau Claire, the dinosaurs will head south for a 6-month time at an art museum before they soar to their forever home. Eau Claire Sculpture Tour said in an interview with UW-Eau that they are sad to see the dinosaurs go, but they hope that they will return to the Chippewa Valley one day. If you would like to see Mother of Dragon, she is located in River Prairie Park next to Helix, and her friends are scattered across Eau Claire and Altoona.
April 1st marks the election of new city council members for Eau Claire. With the election coming up soon, the Eau Claire Chamber of Commerce has released the city council interview videos. All 7 5-minute interviews have been posted to the Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel for community members to watch and prepare for the election. The interviews were conducted by the Chamber's Vice President of Governmental Affairs, Scott Rogers. In the interviews, Rogers asked the candidates a variety of questions where we can learn about each candidate's backgrounds and get an understanding of why they are running for city council and what their top priorities are, if they get elected. Written responses to some of these questions were also posted by the Chambers of Commerce and can be found on their website. Well, I think it's a great resource. I will admit I'm not very politically involved, but I think it's really interesting that they post those interviews and not just written responses, but also post videos of that. I think that's a really great way to help inform your community more and who's really wanting to be in office so that they can make, more well-formed decisions.
Yeah, I think it is a really great idea. And I actually was at the city council meeting last night covering the event, and they did talk about the upcoming election. And it sounds like everyone is really excited for the new election season and the new chambers or the new council season, with 2 people retiring actually from city council this year.
Okay.
So we'll see some new blood on the council and see some old, and I can't wait to see what happens next for Eau Claire.
Yeah.
Well, BNN will be right back after this break.
Stick around for your weather forecast and an update on Blugold Sports on BNN Blitz.
Do you need the closer? It's time. Bring in the closer. Alright, listen. Multiple choice versus short answer. Watch the curveball on question 8, alright? This teacher's a hard grader and it's a trick question, alright? Canvas is yours.
Thank you, Sam and Elizabeth. Good evening. I'm Evan Rosnick with your weather report tonight. Given the weather we've been having recently, I think it's safe to say that spring has finally come. Calendars may say we have another week left before spring arrives, but the weather we're expecting for the upcoming week says otherwise. Today was a decent day to mark the beginning of spring. We saw partly cloudy weather with a high of 55 degrees, a low of 30 degrees, and average temperature of 47 degrees. This unofficial first week of spring will start out with some fantastic conditions. For those of you leaving for spring break on Friday like I am, you can expect to be driving home in some great weather. We'll have a high of 74 degrees with mostly cloudy weather, making it a great day to go outside or roll down the windows on your ride home. Saturday will have some not as great weather, exhibiting occasional showers throughout the day with a high of 54 and a low of 21. Sunday will dip down a bit with a high of 38 and a low of 24, but Monday will bring it back up with a high of 53 and a low of 37. Tuesday will get a bit warmer with a high of 61 and mostly cloudy weather, but Wednesday will take it back down with a high of 45 degrees, a low of 26 degrees, and some afternoon showers. For your regional weather here, Chippewa Valley is sitting anywhere from 48 to 50 degrees, depending on where you are. If you're in Menominee, it's 49 degrees. Or if you're in the Chippewa Falls, it's 48 degrees. And if you're in Eau Claire, it's 50 degrees. Continuing the theme of increasing in 1 degree increments, both Lake City and Red Wing, Minnesota are at 51 degrees, leaving both Bloomington and Minneapolis at a temperature of 52 degrees. That's all I have for you this week. Be sure to tune in next week to see if me getting my wisdom teeth pulled over spring break will make it more difficult to bring you the weather. Wishing you all a great spring break. For BNN, I'm Evan Rosnick. Back to you, Elizabeth and Sam.
B5.
Well, I got a 7, so +2.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we should probably read the directions next time.
Probably. You know what does make sense? Game show. Hi, I'm Abe.
And I'm Somerset.
We're the host of the game show.
If you want to see us play more games like this, or Jeopardy!
Or The Price is Right.
Check us out on mytv10.uwec.edu.
And if you ever want to be in one of our episodes, make sure to scan the QR code somewhere on the screen. Peace.
Thanks, Evan. BNN Blitz is back this week with more Blugold Sports updates.
Over to you, Andrew and Michael.
Welcome to BNN Blitz. I'm Andrew Thaler.
And I'm Michael Watson with your weekly recap of Blugold sports action.
After a weekend where the Blugolds placed 6th at WIAC Championship/NCGA West Regionals, the qualifiers for Nationals were announced. Megan Dolan and Ella Montgomery are headed to Nationals in gymnastics, both in the balance beam. Montgomery is coming off a 3rd place finish at the WIAC meet on Saturday. She scored a 9.775 to earn all WIAC honors. Dolan tied for 15th in the event on Saturday with a 9.625. This will be the 2nd national appearance for Dolan and the 1st for Montgomery. Dolan placed 9th on the beam at the 2024 National Championship. Throughout the history of the Blugolds, 11 have All-American on the balance beam. The National Championship is set for March 22nd in St. Peter, Minnesota at Gustavus Adolphus College. It begins at 2 p.m. at the Lund Center.
Junior Regan Warner out of Farmington, Minnesota makes Blugold history with 9 goals in their 25-3 victory over Edgewood. Her 9-goal effort sets the Blugold record for most goals scored in a single game. Warner also recorded 12 points to break the record for points recorded in a single game. The single game record for goals and points were previously held by Becky Gosech, who recorded 8 goals and 11 points back in 2022 against Edgewood. The 25-goal win was 1 goal shy of the program record of 26. The Blugolds hit the road and take on McDaniel Sunday, March 16th.
For the first time since 2013, the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire men's hockey team will play in the NCAA tournament against 5th-ranked Aurora University. The Blugolds clinched their spot in the NCAA field by defeating UW-River Falls 2-0 to clinch the WIAC Commissioner's Cup and the automatic NCAA bid that comes with it on Saturday night at the Hobbs Ice Arena. With the victory, the Blugolds earned their first conference tournament title since 2022. It's UW-Eau Claire's 5th conference tournament title, which is tied for the most in the WIAC's history. Kyler Grundy scored what proved to be the game winner with just over 11 minutes left in the opening period. It came off an assist from Kyle Oleksiuk. The Blugolds added an empty net goal with 14 seconds remaining in the third period by Trenton Hyde. Max Guchar was superb in the net to earn the shutout. He saved 39 shots, a season high. That included 17 saves in the second period. Colin Stein for the Blugolds was named to WIAC All-Conference team. Max Guchar, Dane Hoyard, and Connor Schmall were all named honorable mentions on the All-WIAC team. They opened up the tournament with a first-round game at 5th-ranked Aurora University on Saturday, March 15th at 1 p.m. in Geneva, Illinois.
The men's basketball team gathered a few more accolades, with senior center Carter Hushka and junior guard Andre Renta both being named to the All-Conference squad. Hushka also being named to the All-Conference defensive team. Hushka and Renta were the biggest scorers for the Blugolds of the year, with Hushka being second in scoring in the WIAC and third in rebounds and blocks per game. While Renta being third in the conference for scoring, this caps a successful year for the Blugolds, and look for Renta to pick up where he left off for the Blugolds once again next season.
Softball season is back for the Blugolds.
BNN Blitz David Abel and Eli Bennis have an inside look at the new season.
Another season of softball has arrived, and for the Red Hot Lady Blugolds, they were able to play a regular season series in new territory. On March 8th, the Lady Blugolds hosted St. Norbert College for the Blugolds' first Son and Tag softball games. The Blugolds had a successful series offensively, scoring 18 runs in 10 innings of play. First-year catcher and infielder Ava Kozlowski discussed the approach and preparation taken heading into the series.
Throughout practice this past week, we tried to focus on what we knew we were going to see in this game today against St. Norbert.
Kozlowski had a stellar weekend, slugging her first home run of her collegiate career in a Game 2 win 8-0. Kozlowski was met at home plate, where the team celebrated the moment. The team was full of spirit during both games and were supporting each other all throughout the games. Head coach Leslie Huntington, who is in her 24th year in the role, recognized the teamwork that the team has created so far this season.
Right from the get-go in the fall, when we get started with them, we put a lot of emphasis on team building and getting them to spend time together and things like that. And one of our core covenants is unity. So they take that to heart. They take it really personal, like it's important to them to be one, to have one heartbeat.
With the 10-0 Game 1 win, fourth-year pitcher J.C. Schultz talked about the mindset of playing a new game and staying focused moving forward.
The big mentality of going 1-0. So it really doesn't matter if we lost, if we won, that game's over. We can learn from it. We can learn from our mistakes, learn from what we did well and to continue it. But our main goal is to stay 1-0.
In the season series, the Blugolds committed just 1 error and gave up 7 hits. Fourth-year pitcher J.C. Schultz threw 5 shutout innings, collecting 6 strikeouts, lowering her season earned run average to 1.17 in 24 innings of work.
Yeah, that's her. I mean, that's her game. That off-speed pitch is her game. That's what makes her so good. And she's had it since she was a freshman. She's gotten even better at it this year. We've started to use it a lot more this year. She's faced some pretty strong hitting lineups. When we played Denison down in Georgia last weekend, they were a great hitting team, and she kept them off balance with that changeup.
Now 8-2 after the weekend sweep, the Blugolds will look to carry their high energy into the Space Coast Spring Games March 19th through the 21st. Reporting for BNN, I'm Eli Bennis.
Thanks, David and Eli. That's all for the world of Blue Gold Sports. I'm Andrew Thaller.
And I'm Michael Watson. Back to you, Sam and Elizabeth.
I don't know.
Did you read the instructions before doing this?
No, I never do.
I think with it stating desk. I didn't bring water or anything.
What?
I was gonna bring milk. I forgot.
Another competitor has entered the stage.
This wasn't planned at all. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in to Handle on My TV 10.
Thanks, Andrew and Michael. Welcome back to Behind the Scenes. This week, we have an exciting post show for you.
That's right, we're talking about professional bull riding and Formula One, which is something new for this today's segment. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, so we're going to start by talking about PBR. This past weekend, they were in Little Rock, and it was very exciting for me. I wasn't there in person, but Dalton Castle, who is in the picture there, he actually won the round, which I was very excited for because I want him to move up in the world standings. So that was really fun. It's definitely a fun thing. Have you ever watched PBR or bull riding?
I actually have not. I've seen bits and pieces, but I remember when I was younger, I was always afraid of the Girl Meets World episode with bull riding. And so I just have always kind of strayed away from the sport, but it looks really interesting. And like, it seems like there's a lot of really crazy things that could go into it.
There definitely is. I definitely get like the nerves about it. It can be like nerve-wracking, especially if you're like there in person and you see someone get stomped on, but it's a lot of fun to watch. It's fun to see if they can last the 8 seconds on the bull. And it's also just fun to see the different bulls. They have a lot of like really weird names. Like one of them I mentioned was Snuggles, which obviously you don't want to snuggle the bull. But so it's always fun to see the different weird names that they come up, and on like their live stream or whatever, they'll have like a certain shot that shows the bull and it's like the boop cam kind of thing, like you want to boop the bull's nose. So it's definitely fun, but I was very excited that he won the round. So hopefully he can keep moving up because the world standings has definitely been changing a lot this season already.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, talking about world standings that change a lot, let's look at some Formula One standings. This weekend is the first race of the 2025 season taking place in Australia, which is the hometown of one of our favorite papaya boys, Oscar Piastri. So it's been kind of a joke right now on the Formula One social media space because Oscar is quite literally all over Australia right now, being Australia's hometown boy, now that Daniel Ricciardo has been removed from the grid. And his sister has been cracking jokes all over TikTok about it.
Yes, I love his family. Like, his mom on Twitter is so funny all the time. She's always keeping him humble. But it was definitely funny seeing Hattie's TikTok about how she just can't escape his brother because he's on every poster everywhere when she's walking home from class.
Right.
It's definitely fun.
I mean, can you imagine just literally walking down the street and there's your brother?
Yeah.
And then you walk 10 feet more and there he is again. And you're like, I can't escape you. Like, you can't escape you at home.
Yeah.
Now I think that you've left to travel the world and drive cars and you're back. And But after winning the Constructors' Championship last season, I wonder if McLaren has it again this season.
I hope so. And I hope it's less chaotic, let's put it that way. I hope it's a little less stressful, more calming and exciting.
So who's your pick for Constructors winner?
Well, I mean, obviously I would hope McLaren as well, yes.
Yeah. I think I'm very much between McLaren and Ferrari right now. I think both teams have a very strong lineup, with Ferrari having Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, and then McLaren having Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lando pulled up at the end of last season and we were all like, hey buddy, with him.
Once Miami hit, like after that, it was
he got his first win, and Oscar got his first win last season. And I think the race in Wisconsin is going to be Saturday night at 11 p.m. But in Australia, it's going to be in the middle of the day and it's going to be rainy.
Oh.
And we have 4 rookies on the grid this season.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these rookies. Now, one of them has raced in F1 before, which is Ollie Behrman. But, I mean, we have the 4 rookies and Fernando Alonso, which they quoted to be a rookie himself.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really exciting, and I'm ready to watch a really fun race.
Yeah, and I know you and I were talking about, I'm really excited to see Lewis as well, see how he does in Ferrari. I mean, it's Lewis Hamilton, but he's been with Mercedes, what, 10, 11 years?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's switching to Ferrari. So
Yeah.
even though it is Lewis, 7-time world champion, like it'll be really interesting to see how he adjusts to driving in a different car.
Exactly. And having Carlos come out in a Williams,
Yes.
which, I mean, I was a little shocked by that move, but I'm just
For
glad
sure.
that he's back on the grid. And
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really exciting to see, you know, kind of what a Williams car can do, which
Yeah.
last season the boys did fabulous with it. And I mean, now you're getting Carlos Sainz, who was fabulous in pre-training. So
Yeah, I think he's going to really push that car well. And it's fun to see him and Alex together, too. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this season, honestly.
I think
it's
so
gonna be
too.
fun.
What team do you think is going to surprise people the most?
I think I would have to stick with Williams. I really do. I mean, we've seen a lot of good potential from Alex, but I think seeing them together and maybe seeing possible like car upgrades, I think it'll be really interesting to see what they're able to pull off compared to last year.
I think Alpine might also have a little trick up their sleeve now that they have Pierre Gasly and Jack Dunham.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have you also seen the things about the Baldpine? Because they're both.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun this
Yeah,
season.
I mean, why wouldn't you shave your head right before a season?
Yeah.
Well, that's all that we have for you tonight.
Join us next week for your latest news, updates, and weather.
And make sure to check us out on mytv10.uwec.edu and at UWEC on Instagram and TikTok, as well as subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I'm Elizabeth Lindahl.
And I'm Samantha Burnett. Thank you and good night.